Hello everyone, I am Miss Andrews and today we're going to be reviewing how to graph points and find slope. To start off, we're going to do a vocabulary review. The first word we have is a coordinate plane. A coordinate plane is a plane which is made up of two perpendicular axes. So we see over here to the left that we have an example of a coordinate plane. The next word we have is coordinates. Coordinates are the ordered pairs or points on the graph, and that's how we're going to be learning today is about the points and how to put them on the graph. The next word we have is the origin. The origin is the center of the graph, and that is at the coordinate 0, 0. So you will see right here, point, this will be our origin. Our next vocab word is the x-axis. That is going to be the horizontal axis that goes across the screen. So if you guys all would like to get out a colored highlighter, and we are going to highlight the x-axis, and we're going to highlight this one in yellow. So it's going to be right here going across. And remember, the horizontal one is the x-axis. The next word we have is the y-axis. So the y-axis is going to be the vertical axis. So we're going to highlight this in a different color. So we're going to use green. So this is going to be the axis going up and down right here. Now we're going to talk about the different quadrants. Quadrants is the names that we give to the specific areas of the coordinate plane that the x and y breaks up. So we see here that we have 4 different coordinates, and when we use coordinates, we're going to use the Roman numerals to write out the coordinate. So we're going to start with the first quadrant. The first quadrant, quadrant 1, is in the top right-hand corner, and in quadrant 1, our coordinates are going to have both a positive x and a positive y. Now we're going to move counterclockwise around the coordinate plane. We're going to have quadrant 2 over here, and in quadrant 2 we're going to see that we're going to have a negative x but a positive y value. And as we move to quadrant 3, which is in the bottom left-hand corner, we are going to have both a negative x and a negative y in our ordered pair. And then for last quadrant over here, for quadrant 4, we see that we will have a positive x and a negative y. So moving on, now we're going to start plotting points on our graph. So we're going to start off with graphing the first point, which is 2, negative 3. So the first number here, 2, we see is going to be the x-coordinate. So that's where we're going to be on the x-axis, and then the y is going to be the negative 3. So we're going to start off by coming to our graph. We see that the x-axis is the one highlighted in yellow that is horizontal. So we're going to find negative 2 on the graph, on here on the x-axis. And then we're going to go down 3 units because we see that we have a negative 3. So we're going to come down to the negative 3, and we're going to put a point right here, and this is going to be our first point. And we see that this point is in the 4th quadrant because it is in the bottom right-hand coordinate. Next, we're going to graph the point negative 4, negative 2. So remember, the first point in our coordinate, this one is the negative 4 is going to be on the x-axis. So since it's a negative, we're going to be on the left-hand side now. So we're going to come over here to find where negative 4 is on the x-axis. And now we're going to go down 2 units because we have a negative 2 as the second point. So we're going to go down 2, and we're going to put our point right here. So we see that we have the point negative 4, negative 2. So for our last point, we have 0, 5. So when we come up, we can start here at our origin. 0 is where we move along on the x-axis. So we see since it's 0, we are not moving towards the right or the left, because before we moved to the right 2, and then for the second point we moved to the left negative 4. But this time we're just going to stay right here. So therefore this third point that we're graphing is going to remain on our y-axis. So it's going to be graphed on this line that's highlighted in green. And then we see that we have the second number here as 5. So since it's positive, we're going to go up 5. So we're going to go up to the 5, and we're going to plot our point right here on the axis. Therefore, since it's not on any of the coordinates, it's on the line, we can just say that the point is on the y-axis. Now we're going to talk about labeling our points once they're already graphed on our coordinate plane. So we're going to start with labeling point A. So most of the points will always be labeled. That way you can tell what they are, because we want to make sure that they're always named. So we have the point here, A. So to figure out what goes on the first part of it, we have to figure out where it is on the x-axis. So coming over to the point A, we're going to go down to the yellow axis. Remember, that's our x-axis. And we see here that A is going to be located at 3 on the x-axis. So we can go ahead and write a number 3 here in the first blank, and then the second blank is going to be where the point is on the y-axis. So we're going to go ahead over here to the left on the green part where the y-axis is, and we see here that it's going to be located at 3 also. So for A, our point is located at 3, 3. So let's go ahead and do point B. So remember, we're going to start off with where it is on the x-axis, which is the yellow one. So we see here that you're going to come over 4 units to the left at -4. So we're located here at -4. So we're going to go ahead and write that in on the first blank, -4. And then we have to see where it is on the y-axis. So we see that it does not go up or down. We see that it is located on this yellow x-axis. So therefore, we're going to put a 0 in because we do not go either up or down on the y-axis. Now for finding C, we're going to see what our coordinate is for that. So we start off by finding where it is on the x-axis. So we're going to go ahead up here, and we see that it is located at 1. Right here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to write a 1 for the first blank, and then the next part is we see where it's located on the y-axis, which is the green one, and we come over from it and we see here it's located at -2. So you'll go ahead and write -2 over here. So we see that C is located at 1, -2. Moving on, now we're going to talk about how to calculate slope. So slope is the steepness, or like the measure of the line that is the connecting 2 points. So right now we're looking at line AC, and when you calculate the slope, we're going to be looking at the rise over the run. So the rise is going to be how we're moving up and down, which is going to be along the y-axis. So this will be your rise, and your run is going to be horizontal. So that's going to be side to side, which is along the x-axis. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to try to find the slope of line AC. So to start off, we're going to start at one of the points. You can pick either of the points on the line. Right now, we're going to start with point C. So you're going to come here and start. So first, we're going to calculate the rise. So we're going to see how many units you have to rise up to get to where point A is. So we see that starting here, we're at -2. So we're going to move up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units to be at where A is. So we're going to go ahead and write that our rise is 5. So now we have to calculate the run. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to find out over here. So coming back to where this point is, we're going to see how many points we have to move either to the left or right to get to A. So we're going to move 1, 2 units to the right. If you're moving to the right, it's going to be a positive number, and if you move to the left, it's going to be a negative number. Just like when you're looking at the x-axis, the numbers on the right are positive and the numbers on the left are negative. And the same goes for the rise. If you're moving up, you're going to be a positive number, and if you're moving down, it's going to be a negative number. So we see that we moved both up, so 5 was positive, and we moved to the right, so the run is positive. So we have a positive 5/2. So this is going to be the slope of our line, is this ratio of 5/2. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to do a practice example. So to start off, we're going to graph the following points. We're going to graph L, which is located at -3, 1, and we're going to graph M, which is located at 1, -5. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with graphing L on our graph. So remember, L starts with -3, so -3 is going to be where it's at on the x-axis, which is our yellow axis here. So we're going to come over on the x-axis to -3. And then the y coordinate is going to be 1, so we're going to move up 1 unit. So we're going to go ahead and plot a point right here at -3, 1, and always remember to label your points so we know which one. So we're going to write an L here to know that that's our point L. Now we can go ahead and graph the other point. So M is located at 1, -5. So 1 is where it is on the x-axis, so we're going to come over here to 1, and then we're going to be moving down 5 units on the y-axis because it's -5 is the second number. So we're going to move down to -5, and we're going to go ahead and put another point here on the line. Remember to label it, so we're going to label this M. Next, we're going to draw a line connecting the 2 points L and M. So we're going to go ahead, our line here. Alright, so now that we have our line, we can now find the slope of our line LM. So remember, we said that the slope is going to be the rise over run. Let's go ahead and write that here so we remember. So let's start off by calculating the rise. So I'm going to start off over here with our point L. Remember, you can pick either of the points to go. So we're going to see where we're going up and down on the y-axis to get to where the point M is. So starting at L, we're going to see how many units down we need to get to M. So we're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units. So we have here 6, and since we're going down, remember that it's going to be a negative 6. Now, and we're going to calculate what the run is. So since we're over here, down 6 units at the L, we're going to move over 1, 2, 3, 4 units. So we're moving 4 units, and since we are going to the right, it is going to be a positive 4. So this is going to be our slope, negative 6 over 4. However, we see that both the 6 and the 4 are divisible by 2. So we can go ahead and simplify this fraction to be a negative 3 over 2. And then that's going to be our final answer of the slope of line LM. So always remember to simplify your slope if possible. And don't forget the negative out front, because we see that it's a negative slope since the line is decreasing. Alright, now it's your turn to try it on your own with the independent practice questions on page 3. Good luck!